Hey everybody, Tara Thomas Getman. We are live inside, appropriately, the Gable Wrestling Museum right here in downtown Waterloo on Commercial. And a friend to many, a familiar face, especially in the local wrestling scene, Kyven Gadson, is back in town. Tell us why you're here and what life has been like for you the last few months.
Well, if I tapped into my inner Muhammad Ali, it's like I'm back in town to throw down. So,
I love it.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm back for a MMA opportunity. I'm going to be fighting on Fury Fight Series at the Waterloo Convention Center, February 7th. And so I'm thrilled, excited, grateful, nervous, all those things that you get when you're getting ready to compete. And, just very, very, glad that I have an opportunity to do it in a place that I feel like helped me grow as a young man and gave me some wings so I could, when I took off to college and things like that.
Your father has quite a legacy here. Tell us the history of your family and how you came to be a local wrestler.
Well, we started in Iowa City, and as a forever Cyclone, I would say I escaped Iowa City at about 12, going into 7th grade, went to Logan Middle School, and was coached by Larry Punchy Salas. Yeah, that's when everything I would say started in Waterloo. On snow days, we couldn't get into the school for wrestling practice, so we'd come over to the Gable Museum. It'd be a 16-passenger van. My dad would go pick the guys up for practice, because there was never going to be a legitimate excuse to not go and work on bettering yourself, And so learn that character trait quality from a young age, and tried to continue to build on it and use those things even now, being a parent of a 7-year-old girl, it's just, you try to impart those qualities on people. And I think that's impacted my life like a ton.
Okay, so tell us your parents' names and what happened once you guys relocated to the Cedar Valley.
Yeah, Willie Gadson and Danita Gadson, Dr. Danita Gadson. My mom works at UniQ right now as of 2026. Father passed away in 2013. His funeral was at Waterloo East High School.
What was his role at East?
He was a science teacher at Logan and middle school, and he was the head wrestling coach from 2004 till his death in 2013. But he loved coaching. We had some really quality teams. Still really good friends with my teammates from this time. I'm hoping to see a lot of them in the crowd this weekend. And, I'm nervous because I know how we would get if we didn't perform well, from a wrestling standpoint. So have to make sure I execute and show up as my alter ego Showtime and put on a great performance.
So your dad coached you at East.
He did.
How did it feel to have a father as a coach? What kind of impact did that have on your relationship?
It was tough at times. It was definitely tough. I think it was more so like the standard and just learning how to communicate, learning needs, learning boundaries. That's always, I think, the struggle between kids and their parents. And then when you add another dynamic to it with an athlete and a coach, there's more there. And so I was experiencing that this past weekend with my daughter, cause she's 7. She had her second wrestling tournament. She won her first wrestling match, and you want to show up just as dad, but then, she seemed to respond decently well to me as coach. The things I think that I look for when coaching and just parenting is did you listen well? Did you give your best effort? And I felt, like my daughter listened extremely well to a fault, I told her, I was like, hey, let's just work on our sprawling. We're not going to shoot much this match. Just work on your sprawling. And my girl went and got in a 3-point stance and just sprawled before the person saw it. And I'm like, well, I need to work on my communication. I didn't over communicate or over clarify the situation. And so put her at a disadvantage, but she ended up winning that match. So I don't feel too bad.
Okay, so what year did you graduate from East?
Yeah, what year? 2010.
And what happened after that?
I went on to Iowa State on a wrestling scholarship and got my bachelor's degree, undergraduate, and my master's degree, and won an NCAA title and some Big 12 titles and All-American finishes.
What was the transition like? What did it mean for you to go from the high school level to the collegiate level, and with both success and in a very high profile program?
It was important for me, like growing up in Iowa City, knowing that my dad and uncle both wrestled at, mom and dad met at Iowa State. My goal was to have bigger footprints than my dad and my uncle, and I would joke with my dad that if I didn't, that means he failed and not me. And so to be able to go there, become an All-American, win a national title, those are all things that were, like, I think, written from an early age, and it was just about narrating it appropriately.
When your dad unfortunately got sick and passed away much too young, many would say obviously not somebody who was anywhere near an older age. I mean, he was
59.
Yes,
Yep.
It was tragic for so many people. How did that change you as a person and impact you as a wrestler?
I think it made me familiar with grief. And I don't think that was something I had really ever dealt with, but it made me familiar with grief and just an awareness that it's okay to reach out for help and use resources to learn how to grieve and do those things. And I think it just made me a little bit more empathetic. Losing your parent at 20 years old isn't something I would wish on anyone, or just losing a parent earlier in life on anyone. And so it just really gave me some clarity on the important things in life, and even to a point where there was times where I didn't want to wrestle anymore because I felt like I needed to be more of the brother, son, father, that I'm growing into. And so it just made the important things a priority.
So when you transitioned then from that collegiate wrestling world, at what point did you say, I still have more in me from a physical standpoint, and now born out of that is this mixed martial arts pursuit?
Well, I retired after 2015. I didn't make a big announcement, but I knew I thought I was done wrestling. And then it was like, well, the goal wasn't really just to win an NCAA title. It was to become the best in the world. And to do that, you needed to be a world or Olympic champ. And the 2016 Rio Olympics would have been right around the corner. And so I was like, well, let me just find out. I just need to find out if I can, if I pursue it and it doesn't work out for me, I'll be okay. It'll just be feedback or evidence of areas that I could be better in. And then that didn't go the way you wanted it to in 2016. So you come back 4 more years, and like world alternate in 17, world alternate in 18, world alternate in 19, to a guy that's going on and winning world titles or placing in the top 3 at the world championships was sometimes frustrating, but it gave me an awareness of areas of growth. And then you get to 2020, the world shuts down. And then 2021, preparing for the Olympic trials was amazing and came up short, but was an Olympic team alternate. But then it was just like, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm going to step away. Like life situations, circumstances kind of moved me out of wrestling a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? There's a jiu-jitsu gym called Myriad, American Jiu-Jitsu in Ames. I was like, you know what? I need to go learn some of the other combat sports. I'm watching UFC all the time, and I need to go learn some of the other stuff. And went there and started dabbing my toe in the water a little bit, and that toe became a foot, that foot became a knee, and now I feel like I'm pretty immersed in it with my whole body, learning how to, sink or swim.
Okay, let's go back to all of these Olympic aspirations. What did training look like for you, and how did you balance that with the other elements of your life, like being a father? And then obviously for a lot of people, like, how do you afford to have a livelihood when you're trying to train? I mean, walk us through how that works.
Yeah. The Cyclone Regional Training Center The Sunkist, Team USA, they were really impactful sponsors. And then there were some other people along on that journey that were extremely helpful.
So sponsors help you be able to literally afford to focus entirely on the training and the physicality.
Yep, absolutely.
And what does that look like? How much did you train and what was your diet? And give us all the rundown.
Yeah, so like I would go meet with a nutritionist once a week, and they would give me my macros for the week. And so that means like you can eat this, you can't eat that. You typically would maybe get one cheat meal. And
what would that be?
I'm a big burger and fries guy. And then, you know, everyone knows I love ice cream.
Yes.
And so like I have my own flavor, the championship Kyven dough at the Iowa State Creamery. Yeah, it was just consistent, 2 workouts a day, sometimes 3. Just trying to refine and hone the skills that would be necessary to put yourself in position to be the best in the world.
What is your message to young people when they say, I want to be a wrestler like Kyven? Do they realize the mental and physical stamina and the level of commitment that one would have to achieve something at the level that you've been able to successfully accomplish? Find
the people that support you. I wouldn't say I knew what it took. I told my dad probably at 8 that I wanted to be an Olympic champ. And like, just, like you watch the 2000 Olympics, right? You watch the 2004 Olympics in 2012 and watch Kel Sanderson win. You watch 2008 when you're 16 and watch Henry Cejudo win. And you're like, oh, I want to do that. You watch 2012 when you're 20 and you're in a shoulder sling because, you tore your labrum. And you watch Jake Varner win, someone that you grew up watching, and ended up competing with. And you're like, oh, I want to do that. And I don't think you know what is required until you start down that journey. And then the roadblocks come up. And that's where the resilience is going to have to be. That's where you're going to have to know, like, okay, why do I want this? What do I want from this? Is this about legacy? Is it about glory? Is it about money? What's the why behind this? Is this about pursuit of my best self? And so if I were to say anything to a young person talking to me, it's like, in a world where you can be anything, be rare. And what that means to me is like, be yourself. Find what it is that you care about, what you love, what you want to spend time doing, and find people that support you in that, and then go do it.
Well said. So back to this foray into MMA. So you walk into this not entirely foreign world, because many wrestlers we see on the national stage have a natural affinity for mixed martial arts.
Right.
So you felt you had an edge just walking into what essentially is, as you said, sort of trying a new lane, but you were still in shape.
Right.
So once you saw that this was something that came maybe naturally to you, at what point did you say, I would want to get back into a ring and actually turn this into a competitive endeavor?
Yeah. Well, I actually came in out of shape. I was like 330 pounds.
We'll strike
that.
Yep.
Yeah. I was 330 pounds.
And how tall are you?
5'11".
Okay. So 330 would have been heavy for you based on your previous experience.
197 pounds. Yeah. It was, but like I in the off season during wrestling in college.
Too much ice cream.
Yeah. Too much ice cream. And that's why the nutritionist came in, Ekin Nutrition. Like, they were amazing. My movement coach, Anthony Bacom at Move Well.
So which came first? Did you present to them, hey, you might want to get me, in a competitive situation, or did they identify you as somebody who they wanted on their team as one of the competitors?
I think it was an internal thing with me, like having to be like, oh, like, all right, I'm going to do this. I need to get myself back. And then you start having those conversations. Yep. Cause like I do like eating and enjoy those things, it's fun. Sugar is good, but it's bad for you, like anything that doesn't require like hard work before you get it is typically going to end up, in a bad situation. So
how long from that moment you first started the MMA training until your first fight?
It was 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 2022.
So that was a long-term commitment.
Yep, it was 2022. So 2022, I go into the gym, start doing jujitsu, start messing around with, like some pads with Jerome Ward, one of my college teammates who's a undefeated amateur MMA fighter. And he's like, hey man, like if you want to do this, like the time is now. And you're getting some people like call you. They're like, hey, like this person started at this age, you can still do it. This person started at this age, you can still do it.
And why do wrestlers have an advantage based on their training and experience in the MMA world?
Yeah, I think it's a mentality. Because some of the things that you do in wrestling, if you do it in an MMA cage, it's going to get you in trouble. So there's some things that you have to shed and let go of. It's like an evolution of self. And so there's some things that if I continue to do that work in wrestling, if you bring them into an MMA cage, like shooting to a back leg of an opponent, you can catch a knee to the mouth and lose all your fronts. And I don't really want dentures at 33. So, I'm going to really try to avoid those type of situations. If you take a shot and you leave your head on the outside, and leave your neck exposed, you can get choked out, and then you wake up and, the people that care about you are like, yo, like your feet are in the air and they're shaking your feet. And so, just being really like diligent about those things so you don't put yourself in that situation.
So you come in 2022 to commence training, admittedly out of shape.
Yes.
When you 3 years later step into this MMA ring, what was your weight at that point? And were you, did you feel like you were back?
I weighed in today for my first fight, my amateur fight. I weighed 286. And that would have been in June of 2025. In October of 25, I weighed 263. And then today at the weigh-in, I weighed 264.
And that was the goal, was to keep getting leaner.
Yep. Getting leaner. So like even today, weighing in a little bit heavier, I've put on more like muscle mass. And I'm still going to shed probably like 25 more pounds.
And MMA is different because it's not like wrestling classes, right? So
Right.
you could be fighting somebody who's much larger or smaller, or explain that, because it just looks different from a viewer standpoint.
Yeah. So the weight classes, for MMA are, for men's MMA are 135, 125, 135, 145.
Okay, they still do have
55,
that. Okay,
170, 85, 205, and then 265.
So it's very similar to wrestling in that many
Yes.
people, like the fighter we just saw recently who passed out after his weigh-in.
Yes.
Because you are literally cutting weight. Okay.
Yeah.
Which somebody in the wrestling world, as you were for years, understands that grind.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So do we know at this point, like going into the fight, do we have a read on your opponent? What can you share about your match or fight that we're all interested in hearing about?
Well, we have a read on the opponent if he gets on his bus. So it sounds like there might have been an issue with logistics. So
well, I'm sure we could drum up somebody who'd take you on locally. I'm kidding. People watching this are thinking, oh my gosh. Well, we have to get the person here, because I know many locals will be counting on seeing a hometown guy get into the ring.
Yeah. And I'm counting on it too. Like there was a lot of work that people invested, energy put in. So want to make sure that's used, efficiently, and effectively. And so, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the opportunity to be back home, and an opportunity to showcase my growth in MMA.
Well, we're excited for you, and what a career and a legacy. And I know your parents, your father looking down is so proud, and it's so cool because so many wrestlers may not realize, if they so choose, there are opportunities well beyond high school in this sport. And now for you with MMA. So give us the shout outs. Who's a part of your club? Who are the people behind you? Who's in your corner, so to speak?
Well, I have to, first and foremost, I think I got days off from work. So shout out to the ISU Foundation. I took a day off from work today. But like my team at Myriad MMA Academy, they're awesome. Jake Bauer, the coaches, Jerome, Cody Walker, Anthony Bacam, Olivia Meyer, my support system. There's just a lot of amazing people. We got Ekin Nutrition. We have, hands-on excavating and tiling. There's a lot of really good people that want to see us Ethical Arms, see us be successful. and just really fortunate to have people in the corner that want to see you win and want to support you on the mission.
It's so cool. So tomorrow, Saturday, February 7th at the Waterloo Convention Center, Kyven will be among those fighting. Who is the promoter behind tomorrow?
So Fury Fight Series, it's Adnan Mujahid.
Okay. And there are tickets available through,
Fury,
I'm going to tag their web page as well.
Yeah.
I'll tag their Facebook page rather, and then we'll put a link in the comments so you guys watching can get tickets. So how many fights can we expect to see?
Yeah, so there's 15 fights on the card.
Starting at 6, but doors
p.m.
open at 5 at the convention center. And if you guys haven't been, I've been to some of these events, and it's so fun. I mean, and for people watching that say, maybe I don't like that sport, you can't help but get into it because it's just amazing exercise.
It's a human spirit.
Of physicality too, right?
And a human spirit,
we all
for
have
sure.
to respect what you guys put in and girls put into
Yeah.
the preparation. So what happens after tomorrow night? Where do you go from here?
After tomorrow night,
this is your second professional fight.
Right. Yes. After tomorrow night, we'll relook at some things and get on the road to Michigan for next month and have an opportunity up there and just get back in the lab is what I call it, and start perfecting the craft and continuing to grow the skills that are going to make you successful.
Well said. And you said what is your name in the fighting world? What do you go by?
Showtime.
Showtime.
Yeah.
So Kyven Showtime Gadson, homegrown talent. He will be here tomorrow night at the Waterloo Convention Center. Don't miss a chance to check him out. We'll share the ticket information. And what is your final message to your friends and supporters and fans now that you're back in your hometown taking on such a very incredible feat of being an MMA fighter?
I would say it is whatever you care about, whoever you care about, make sure you let them know, and whatever you care about, go pursue it and make things happen.
Well, thank you so much. We're so excited for you, and we love catching up with you. Everyone involved in wrestling locally knows you and your family, and we wish you the best and best of luck representing the hometown of Waterloo tomorrow night in your MMA fight. Thank you so much for letting us pick your brain about what has been such an interesting journey for you.
Do you think I can get a morgue sponsorship? I'm looking for morgues. I need a Waterloo company.
I'm
going to morgue right now.
Hanson's Dairy might be a good
Dairy
pursuit, right?
Or
Anything
maybe
with
O'Neill
ice cream.
Steel. O'Neill Steel was on the way in.
So if you're interested in sponsoring, we will tag Myriad so you can reach out directly to his team. They'd love to talk.
Yeah, Liederman Belsbond. He took care of us when I was in high school. He's great.